Hello everybody, it's me Nate, aka Devil Dog, and I'm back with another video game review. This time I'm reviewing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was developed by Sumo Digital and published by Gun Media and released on August 18th of 2023 for the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One X and S, and PC. And what is this game? Well, just about everybody knows this game is similar to Friday the 13th, Ghostbusters, and all these other games. It is a asymmetrical 3 versus 4 horror game based off of the 1974 cult classic film. But let me get into a short synopsis of what they say this game is. Listen to this. Take on the role of one of the notorious Slaughter family or their victims in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a third-person asymmetrical horror experience based on the groundbreaking and iconic 1974 horror film, Texas, early 1973. And a small group of close friends embark on a journey to the small, dusty town of Newt, Texas, the last known location of Anna's missing sister, Maria. The group's search quickly turns into a nightmare of unimaginable proportions when they mistakenly invade the wrong place and are hunted down by killers. Yeah, that's a short synopsis of the game, and as I can get into it, it's basically, once again, another one of these asymmetrical style games, but this one is a little bit different in the fact that you can play as 3 of the killer family members versus 4 people trying to survive. Now, this game will play very, very close to just about any other asymmetrical V versus V game, as I call it. And first of all, it is online only. It does not have a single-player experience, and they do not plan on adding one. There is only like 3 levels in the overall game. You have the 3 main maps. You have the house, the slaughterhouse, and the gas station. And you can play as 4 to 5 different killers, and I think there's like 6 to 7 victims. The killers all have their own unique abilities to help hunt down and kill the people. Like the cook has the ability of seek that allows them to see red lines around players that are moving around. Like if they make noise and stuff, you can actually spot them. The hitchhiker is able to place traps to hurt people. Johnny is able to track victims by their blood trails and also footprints. And Sissy has the ability of spraying poison. And all of the other characters have their own special abilities as well. And each of the matches aren't really that long, I've noticed. When playing through it, it only takes about 5 to 7 minutes per each match. And the reason why is they added this thing with the victims where they have a constant bleed out. There's no way to stop it because they even say, oh, they've been severely injured by these killers and they have to escape. And they only have a certain amount of time to escape before they die. So either way, it forces you to actually, as one of the victims, to play the game as fast as possible. And they even tell you, though, they want you to play it slow, though, because if you creep around, you make less noise, but if you run, you make noise so where the killers can find you easier. There's lots of traps you can get bumped into, and you got to go unlock doors and stuff like that. And that's really about it. The whole point as a victim is to escape the grounds before being killed. And it consists of different ways of doing it. You can, like, fix a power generator that allows you to open the main gate to get out. There's like a locked door in the basement that if you're able to open, you can actually get out through a tunnel system. And the other way is by fixing like the water filtration machine or something like that. So there's like really 3 real main ways and a couple other ones that are kind of weird based on which map you're playing in order to escape. Now, as the killers, this is one of the few times I can say that the game is somewhat decently balanced, and I think the killers really should be a lot stronger than they are. They're kind of plain Jane. You would think Leatherface would have better abilities, but no, not really. You know, I mean, as a family, your main purpose is naturally kill all the victims before they escape. You go around locking doors, you can set traps, and you find pools of blood that you want to collect, because what you want to do is then you head back to Grandpa and you give him blood, and the more blood you give him, the more special abilities you'll unlock to use during that match to help you hunt and kill these victims. And that's really about it. I mean, you got to think with the killers, they have 3 main mechanics of savagery, harvesting, and endurance. While the victims, they have toughness, endurance, strength, profession, and stealth. And naturally, as you go through and you keep leveling up by playing matches, which so far it seems like you get enough experience, so it's not really bad. in terms of leveling up in the game, which is pretty decent. And you naturally you get to unlock different upgrades and perks and different abilities. I know as a victim you're only allowed to carry like 2 items at a time, which is kind of rough, but it kind of makes it to where you have to play the game strategically and kind of memorize the levels. The one thing I will have to say is while they did do a very good job in a visual representation of these locations, I kind of think they spent too much time on that because the gameplay itself, while it is fun, it's just kind of like the Evil Dead, online game. The same thing as Ghostbusters and everything else. It's just one of those games that when you play it, after 10 minutes of playing it, you basically got the whole gist of the entire game. Nothing else is new that's brought to the table. This is pretty much it. And, it's another disappointment in my book because these asymmetrical games don't really add enough variety to them. And I personally think it takes these companies too long to come out with new content. And fundamentally, they're always just the same game, which is new maps that you get to go through. And they might unlock a new enemy. I kind of think the Ghostbusters one was a little bit funner because I think the ghosts actually had some pretty decent abilities. And in this one, it's kind of boring. It really is. I mean, it's fun the first couple times of playing it, but honestly, for its price and the fact that the game, each match, it takes longer in a load screen to actually get a match going than it does actually play and beat a match. And that right there, to me, is quite a detriment. That, and even if you tweak it to where you can see a little bit better, it's still very, very hard to see, especially when it's nighttime in the game. And especially until you memorize like the mansion and everything else, it's a complete nightmare figuring out where to go to get through this, no pun intended. Hands down, I kind of think most of the killers really don't have much personality either. I mean, Leatherface kind of sort of does, but you don't really get to see it until like you win a match at the end where he does this classic thing of swinging his chainsaw around over his head and stuff. And I did like the aspect of the extra abilities you could unlock during a match by feeding Grandpa blood, which unlocks new abilities for the killers. But in the end, to me, it just, once again, is kind of like another Friday the 13th online game. It doesn't really bring anything else to it other than the fact of the visual representation of these levels from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. Which, honestly, hands down, that is the best part of this. It really is. If you actually are a huge fan of the original movie, which I am, I was able to go through these areas and look at the detail and time and effort they put into it to get it pretty much almost a spot-on duplication of what these scenes were from the movie, which is fantastic. That is great. But you need to bring more to it than just that. And in the end, I just can't sit here and say that this was a good game. In fact, I hate to say it, I think most games that are published by Gun Media aren't really that good, okay? They're one and dones. Guns one and dones is what I call them, because it really is a shame, because they got an IP, they took a good amount of time to make this game, and structurally, it's a sound game. It does play fairly well. I mean, the abilities of the victims that you have as you go around trying to avoid the killers and be able to escape before you bleed out is novel. I do like the killers. They do have some neat abilities that they can actually use to kill the victims. But honestly, like I said, this is another one of those games that once you pick it up and you play it for 10 minutes, you basically have played the whole game. That's it. The only difference is the 3 levels, which hopefully in the future they add more. I'm not really sure how they're going to unless they start taking areas from the sequels of the movies, because there really wasn't many areas in the first movie, and they did duplicate them pretty much spot on exact in this. But in the end, my personal feeling on Texas Chainsaw Massacre is I would say pass on this. Unless you're a really diehard fan of these asymmetrical 2 versus 4, 3 versus 4 type games, I would say pass on this. It's just not fun after the first couple matches. It really isn't. The most fun I had was getting on with my headset and doing voices of like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Hulk Hogan while playing the match. I had people laugh and say, "Oh, Leatherface." It's like, "Y'all, I'm not Leatherface. I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I'm here to kill you. I'm gonna send you back on the chopper." And I had more fun doing that than actually playing the game. And in the end, that's kind of a sign of just a boring game. Yes, you can have a structurally well-built game. You can have the netcode pretty damn decent in this. I only had one time it actually dropped me from a match. Other than that, every other time, it takes a good amount of time to load up a match, but other than that, I had no issues playing the game. All the mechanics functioned perfectly fine and were acceptable, and I think the best parts of it was the level designs. But in the end, this is just another one of those games that after you play it for 10 minutes, you've played everything the game really has to offer. And with the fact that there is no single player story mode, I would have to say definitely pass on this game. Please leave in the comments below if you played Texas Chainsaw Massacre the game. What are your thoughts of it? Do you agree or disagree with me? Is there anything I left out on this review that you think I should have talked about? Please give me a thumbs up for this video. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And of course, here at Double Dog Gaming, we always end our videos by saying, have fun, play hard, and remember people, the devil is in the details. Peace out until next time.